Hey there! So if you remember from last video, we had prepped up top with some painter's tape and tried to clean off as much of the butyl tape as we could with a chisel, and now we're prepping to wire brush. I am using a ripped trash bag to act as my catchment system for when I am wire brushing up top, because I plan on minimizing the amount of debris cleanup by angling the wire brush so that any debris gets pushed into this opening, as opposed to on the top of the trailer. I worry that it would scrape the paint, and I don't want to have to repaint the top of the roof. So always keep in mind that Scotch tape is not what you should be using when you are taping something to an interior surface that already has paint applied. Scotch tape will rip it off. So I'm using painter's tape. In hindsight, I should have removed the wires from sitting in this little plastic trap. They got a little dirty, and it wasn't like difficult to clean them, but overall it's just smarter to keep them out of places that get dirty. And so for the rest of this, I'm just double checking that all of my corners are perfectly taped up and that there's no holes in the system. And here I'm going to use shims to separate the sheet metal from the roof curb, so that when I begin wire brushing, the wood is less likely to get hit. For the wire brushing itself, I'm just using a Milwaukee drill with a 1/4-inch wire brush. Honestly, I probably should have used 2, but 1 did the job. And I don't have a whole lot of daylight left, maybe 30 minutes or so, so I tried to do this as quickly, efficiently, and effectively as I could. So what's the point in wire brushing? You need to make sure that your surface is clean and bare of any sealant or paint before you can apply any new sealant or paint. Otherwise, your seal can fail. Also, there was no easy way for me to be able to film the wire brushing, so that's why we're getting sunset videos. And then wrapping up, I've finished up the majority of wire brushing, and this is about the amount of debris that I built up. Now we're out of daylight. I wish that I had had a better way to protect the roof curb from getting this much debris on it, but overall it wasn't the most difficult thing to clean up. Here I'm just pulling out the loose shims so they don't get lost in the sheet metal. And for the last 15 minutes of energy I had, I decided to take off the butyl tape with a paint scraper. And here it is after getting washed and scrubbed clean. The next day, I adjust the roof curb, so I'm deciding to make it with 1-inch thick treated cedar wood. So I have 2 longer pieces that I can use on 2 sides, and so I'm going to shim up on those adjacent sides so that I can install the 2 pieces that fit. Always make sure that the 2 sides that you're gluing together are clean of debris first. That includes sanding down any rough edges on the new piece of wood that's going on top of the existing piece. Getting rid of the dust and debris and extra edges allows more surface area to be adhered to the existing surface. And so what you're seeing now is me adding clamps. That'll be different than what you see in the photo that's coming up. Always make sure to put a barrier between the wood clamp and any surface that you don't want to get damaged. I was always taught to do a minimum of 3 clamps, 2 on both ends and 1 in the middle. Never tighten them all the way, because you may need to adjust the new piece that you're adding on. With the glue, it'll slide around. Make sure to clean up your glue with a wet cloth and then let it sit for 4 to 6 hours. And so the next step is cutting out 2 final vent curb pieces out of these larger pieces of cedar, which is obnoxious. So I copied the length onto this piece, and now I get to cut it out with the only tool that I have at my disposal, which is a dovetail saw. Use what you got, I guess. So because I don't want to mess up the cut in between these, I'm going to chisel in a line that my saw is more likely to follow. I don't remember where I learned this trick. I think it was in college at a wood turning class, but it helped to keep my line straight. Like I said, work with what you got. I'm using my feet to hold the piece in place while I saw it. And to be honest, like, it didn't really take me that long to saw these with this dovetail saw. Overall, it may have taken me 7 minutes, so it's not like I was really put out for time. Oh, the fun part. In order to cut the side edge, I had to put it in something that resembled a vise, which is using the 2 steps of a ladder to create a friction point. And so I was able to cut it, but my goodness, that was a ridiculous solution. Last but not least, I used P80 grit sandpaper to take a first pass at cleaning off some of the rough cut lines on the sides. And the point of doing this is, like I said before, it's to create more surface area that the glue can adhere to. So, and you know, next time if I ever need to take the roof vent off again, I don't want to get splinters. It's not like I'm using rough sawn lumber either, but I just want to make sure that things are done properly and secured properly. So now that everything is smooth compared to what I had, it's time to install the final 2 pieces. Oh, and make sure to wipe down your freshly sanded wood with a wet washcloth to get rid of any dust. Ah, yes. The one piece that somehow doesn't fit, even though it's the same length as all the other pieces. We'll see if this causes me issues in the future, but I installed it anyway. Apply the glue. Clamp it down. Check for gaps. Fill them up if you want. I don't know if I want to, so I'm not going to. Not yet, anyway. And, yeah, that's about it for the past 2 days. It was wire brushing and increasing the height of the roof vent curb. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please make them known kindly in the comments. And thanks for watching.